AskReddit by Memory Van Wolf. What is the weirdest advice you have heard that is strangely effective? Do you understand that if you try to endlessly stack bricks, no matter how perfect you do it, they will fall over? My boss told me this after I burned out. Just says that no matter how well you plan your work, too much is too much. Good boss. If you're really shy or struggle with holding conversations or being social, just ask questions. This works in 3 ways. As 1, the other person will be doing most of the talking. 2, they also leave the conversation with a positive feeling because most people enjoy talking about themselves. And 3, it gives a sense that someone is interested in them. Bonus positive feelings about your interaction. I'm an extroverted introvert. I dislike social contacts, but the nature of my job requires ongoing interaction, and being an only child has always required me to make an effort or be on my own. This tactic usually works for me, and people are always surprised when I say I'm actually super introverted. Problem is I can't ask them how are you 10x. My granddad lived to be 95. I asked him what the secret to long happy life was. He told me to mind my own business. Grandpa, what's your secret to a happy life at 95? Fuck off, I'm not telling you. Mind your own business. From my 7-year-old daughter, I still laugh about it today. If you're ever in an awkward situation with someone or need to just go away, you could always pretend to choke on something. I don't know where this came from, but it's funny and it works. You just run away to get a glass of water. So just pretend like I'm choking, then leave work and go home. Got it? If you sit quietly while everyone else fucks up, you're going to win big. John Oliver. I've gotten multiple jobs and school opportunities by just doing my work and not being a loud moron. One of my axioms is that you don't have to be perfect, you just have to let everyone be worse than you. If you need to remember something, write it 3x or say it out loud 3x. Always weird when you repeat something verbally 3x, especially names. Similarly, if you want to make sure others remember something, tell them 3 times. Tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them. If looking for something in a low light environment, try to use your peripheral vision. I read about it in an old WWI manual about aerial combat at night. It has something to do with how eyes work. It has helped me many times over the years. For finding stuff in a dock-and room, or outside in a field at night, not aerial combat. Also a great trick if you're into astronomy and trying to find a faint star. Don't give excuses unless they ask for it. That is, if you are late for work, just say that you are late, not why you are late. Never volunteer more information than is needed to get through the situation. Sometimes you'll just make things worse by moving their focus to something they didn't even know about. I.e., sorry I'm late to the meeting. I was trying to help coworker finish up their presentation. Boss, what? Coworker told me they submitted that last week. Now you're late and got your coworker in a jam. 2 from elderly southern relatives. 1. Something ain't nothing taking 5 minutes to work out, clean, work on a big project, etc. is better than 0 minutes. We often think we've got to do 2 hours of rigorous work or it doesn't accomplish anything. 2. Time will pass either way. If you want to work to get better at something, accomplish a long-term goal, or change careers or credentials, don't look at the 2-5 years and think you'll be too old. If you're 24 and want to go to college, you'll be 28 in 4 years with or without a degree, regardless of what you do in that time. On that second one, my grandpa said something best. My dad was talking about how he'd be 51 once he graduated if he went back to college. My grandpa responded, how old will you be if you don't go? Anger and remorse are shadow companions, with remorse always a step behind. I took control over my temper issues by reminding me of this one-liner. Hope this works for you, too. Deleted. I don't know what to comment, sips. It's only embarrassing if you're embarrassed. The older I get, the more I understand this one. Edit, you guys are awesome. Thank you for the awards and feedback. If you're not willing to look stupid, nothing good is ever gonna happen to you. Dear Gregory House. A co-worker told me that when someone has the hiccups you tell them you're not a fish. The amount of times this has worked has convinced me she's a witch. I have texted her at least a half dozen times whenever it worked. At one point while I had the hiccups and asked a friend to tell me I'm not a fish. Worked. Fucking sorcery. I couldn't remember exactly what you said. Yesterday my 15-year had the hiccups and I looked at him and said you owe me a fish. He had literally just hiccuped. I said it as soon as he got it out. He looked at me and asked what? There were 3 other kids in the car and they all started in about naming it and this and that. My 15-year asked what are you talking about? Why do I owe you a fish? I said well, I read something on the internet today, and it said you owed me a fish. They continued a minute more. Then everyone was like, seriously, explain. I said you've not hiccuped one time since I've said that. When someone gets something over on him, his dimples starts showing and his blue eyes sparkle. We busted out laughing and he didn't hiccup again. I said I'm going to find that post and thank that redditor. I just wanted you to know. I thought you might enjoy that. Sometimes people suck. It really made me stop and think about how some people just suck and the only thing I can change is how I let it affect me. I became a much less angrier person. I hardly have road rage anymore, and just generally happier. Fail quickly, as in, if your plan may not succeed, better to find out next week than next year. Help me quit a suffocating job and dig into my own business 10/10. I've learned this after becoming a father. Not because I'm failing parenting but because I watch kids fail some more and then succeed. It's amazing how shamelessly and effortless they fail and keep going. If you can't fight the fear, do it scared. Got me through a lot of anxiety. I tell myself my increased heart rate and racing thoughts are just signs that my body is priming itself to allow me to do something I didn't know I could do. I used to think they were signs to quit, but they're really an ignition sequence. A wise man once told me, buy a plunger before you need a plunger. Don't beat yourself up forever. Beat yourself up once then move on. Mr. Homer Simpson. That's actually good. My favorite Homerisms. Just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand. My mother always said go back to basics whenever I was struggling mentally. I disregarded it for years but now I live by it. I only utilize this way of living during desperate survival times, but it's amazing advice. Can you give an example? If you want to buy something, wait 24 hours and if you still want to buy it afterwards then buy it. This has really cut my impulse buying down and has made saving money extremely easy. Personally I calculate the item based on hours needed to work and try to visualize if me working those hours for it is worth it. Edit. I just want to mention I have OCD so the waiting 24 hours thing did not work for me. Sometimes you have to find the method that works for you. When writing an email, leave the recipient field until last. And add the attachments first. People don't always remember what you say but how you make them feel. Here in Brazil once I read something like this. Your neighbors won't remember that you said good morning, but try to say fuck you and they'll remember it for the rest of the day. Stressed, upset, panic attack, ennui? Put an ice cube in your hand. Move it around your hand until it slowly melts. It takes about 5 minutes. Primary effect, The cold on your skin grabs your brain's attention. You stop thinking about what was stressing you out and feel present in the moment. Secondary effect. The cold cools your blood, which goes into your heart and slows down the beating. As your heartbeat slows to maintain your body heat, your lungs breathe more slowly as well. It forces you to breathe, which calms you down. After 5 minutes of this, you will feel much calmer, if slightly droopy. Adding to this one a colleague told me about. A bottle of bubbles. Blowing the bubbles, in theory, will help you regulate your breathing, and then you can focus on the color shapes of the bubbles. No one thinks about you as much as you do. Meaning we're all worried about people thinking about the tiniest embarrassing things we do, when no one really cares. It gave me freedom to take on more challenges and not worry about failure. I tell my daughter to add the word yet after anything about lacking something. I don't know how to play this game, becomes I don't know how to play this game yet, that sort of thing. It's meant to redirect negative self-admonishment into a drive to grow and learn. And apparently it's sinking in, because she will say something like, "Ugh, I can't make it up this hill while we're out bike riding," and then catch me looking at her, give a big eye roll and go, yet in the exact tone you think a teenage girl would use. Then she ends up sometimes just rage succeeding to prove the point. It's great. She's going to be at least 3 times better than me, low as that bar may be. Read this to my fiance. He said surely that works the other way around too. I've never broken a bone in my life, yet. I've never murdered anyone, yet XD. Jokes aside, I think this is wonderful and powerful. I plan on trying it out with our own daughter. Do jazz hands in front of wasps and they'll fly away. You'll look like an idiot, but it's working. Edit. English is not my first language, so don't be rude. Don't wave your hands like a maniac. I'm talking about calm jazz hands. I learned that they'll focus on your fingertips and get confused, so they'll leave you alone. Don't kick a hive and try it. It's working for a small amount of wasps. Also, I'm from Europe, so I don't know for big ass murder wasps from other countries. And no, it's not working for mosquitoes. You just want to see me make a fool of myself while I get stung. Rinse your cereal bowl straight away. That stuff sets like concrete. But, I was just about to eat the cereal. This is one I came up with to explain my self-esteem. You can't sat your ugly away. I woke up one day after years of torment, a lot of which from myself, and realized that being upset about how I look won't make me any prettier, so I may as well just own my looks. I can fix what I can, but being upset about it ain't gonna do shit. May as well love my fugly self. Loving myself when I felt no one else would, and being happy and enjoying life despite it all. It really is the greatest revenge I could come up with. My therapist told me, would you befriend someone that would talk to you the way you talk to yourself? Be your OWN friend first and amp. Things will be kinder. Thanks for your quote. Very poignant. When walking among other people, there's a trick to avoid the annoying little who's gonna pass on what side dance, where both of you go left, then both go right and then you finally pass. Pick a direction and aim your face towards your intended direction, like look to the left or right of them, clearly turning your head in a single direction. This is a clear signal to people so there's no confusion as to which way you want to pass them. I haven't had that annoying dance since. My wife changed my world a while back when dealing with a bad attitude from my son. She simply asked, "What do you think is going to come from this?" I apply that to most things I do now. I had a good boss once tell me to think about what I wanted the result to be in any conversation. It helps keep things calm if you know your desired result is not pissing someone off.